Hello, good evening and welcome to News at 10 on TV3 and 3FM 92.7. I am Stephen NT. We're live from the News Hub at Adesawe Kanda and streaming worldwide on the internet at 3news.com and on our Facebook page. Let's begin with the day's major news highlights. Ashanti Regional Police Command has issued a bench warrant for the arrest of 13 members of the Delta Force. At a press conference addressed by the police PRO, Mr. Yao Nketia Yeboah, 8 persons suspected to have aided their escape from the court premises have also been arrested and are in police custody. Meanwhile, Interior Minister Ambrose Derry has given an ultimatum to the 13 members of the Delta Force and their accomplices who stormed the KMA Circuit Court today to perpetrate violence to turn themselves in or face the wrath of the police. At a news conference in Accra, the Inspector General of Police put out what he referred to as the facts of the matter. The Coalition of Domestic Election Observers, CODEO, says the appointment of IGPs by presidents has contributed to the springing up of vigilante groups in the country. CODEO, in a communique after a review of the 2016 election, says the IGP is unable to ban the vigilante groups because he fears he would be victimized if he takes any action. And Parliament has by consensus approved 17 deputy minister designates following the recommendations of the Appointments Committee. Meanwhile, the Speaker of Parliament has shut down calls by the minority to withdraw the appointment of one George Odro based on some damning report about him by the BNI. The Deputy Minister Designate for Agriculture, George Odro, has denied claims by the minority leader that he has been investigated by the BNI and the report damning. This is News at 10. We're live from the News Hub at Adesawe and streaming on the internet at 3news.com. You can also hear us on 3FM 92.7 as well as on the TuneIn app on your mobile phone. Up next is the big one. Welcome back. Now, 13 members of the Delta Force went on a rampage after a presiding judge at the KMA Circuit Court had remanded them in prison custody. The presiding judge had to run for her life as the heavily built thugs unleashed terror.
All 13, including the gang leader of the Delta Force in Kumasi, Kwame Bamba, a mechanic, were hauled into the dock for their role on March 24, where they attacked the Ashanti Regional Security Coordinator. Though granted police inquiry bail, they appeared in court for the first time. Unsatisfied by the court's decision to remand them, the thugs attacked the presiding judge, who jumped over from her decks to save her life. Interestingly, there was no police presence. The police only arrived after the incident.
Meanwhile, the Ashanti Regional Police Command has issued a bench warrant for the arrest of the 13 members of the Delta Force. At a press conference addressed by the police PRO, Yao Nkitia Yaboa, 8 persons suspected to have aided their escape from the court premises have also been arrested and are in police custody. When asked about whether the police will admit that they underestimated the case and therefore couldn't send enough men to protect the court premises, the police were evasive in their answers.
Bench warrant has therefore been issued for their arrest. Meanwhile, 8 persons suspected to have aided their escape from the court premises have also been arrested and are presently in police custody.
Thank you, sir, so much, sir. So we are also hearing that the police did not send enough men to protect the court.
I told you that they escaped through the judge's entrance, a restricted area.
Did you underrate the case?
I have told you that they escaped from the judge's private, where if you've been to court before, you know where judges pass.
I'm asking about if the police did not pick intelligence as far as this particular case is concerned.
Where they passed was a place that they are not supposed to pass.
Yeah, we do understand, but we wanted to know if the police couldn't pick intelligence as far as this particular case is concerned, looking at the magnitude of this case.
It's one thing picking intelligence and another preventing something like this.
Did you say 8 of them? Interesting. And the Interior Minister, Ambrose Derry, has also given an ultimatum to the 13 members of the Delta Force and their accomplices who stormed the KMA Circuit Court today to perpetrate violence, to turn themselves in or face the wrath of the police. At a news conference in Accra, the Inspector General of Police put out what he referred to as the facts of the matter.
Today, 13 accused persons who caused an unlawful damage and assaulted the security officer in Kumasi were sent to court, and they sent them to the Kumasi Metropolitan Authority Circuit Court, presided over by Her Highness Mary Insenchire. The judge remanded the accused persons to prison custody to reappear on the 20th of April. After the announcement, the news went out to some supporters of the accused persons who besieged the court. In the process, the 13 accused persons escaped through the back door being used by the presiding judge. 8 of the people who enabled the accused persons to escape have been arrested, and they are in the prison custody, police custody. Bench warrant has also been issued for the arrest of the 13 accused persons who have escaped.
I wish to reiterate my position that we absolutely condemn the incident which took place in Kumasi. We are going to make sure that the law takes its course and that no one in Ghana is above the law. As you have been told, a bench warrant has been issued. The police are pursuing the 3 suspects. And I wish to make it clear that we shall do all in our power to make sure that they are arrested and brought to face the due process. Let the message go out there to the 13 persons that it is in their interest
to resubmit themselves to due process and have their day in court, and that the police will pursue them. But if need be, we shall involve all other security agencies as may be necessary to make sure that they are brought to justice.
Right, let's go on the telephone lines now and speak with the Peace Council, Chairman of the Peace Council, Reverend Professor Emmanuel Asante is on the line now. Good evening, sir, and thank you very much. We're grateful that you could join us.
Thank you very much.
Great. Prof, before we speak to you, we want to recap and go back to the weekend when President Akufo-Addo met the Asantehene Otumfuo Osei Tutu. At that meeting, he expressed displeasure about the activities of the vigilante groups and insisted that he will not allow activity of these groups, including the Delta Force, to continue, take place under his watch. Let's first hear him, and then we'll continue our conversation, Prof.
Okay.
I'm grateful for the support given me by the people in the Ashanti region. I want to apologize for what the Delta Force group did in the region. I promise to resolve it.
Right, he promised to resolve. Prof, let's look at this issue. Very, very critical. I know that from where you sit, this does not come to you as a surprise, especially in the lead up to the elections, the operations of the Invisible Force and their activities at the MPP headquarters and subsequent concerns that were raised that if this group is not reined in on time, it could foment trouble thereafter, after the elections. We are there now. It's like a prediction come true. I need to hear from you what you make of this latest development where the Delta Force, which is an appendage of the Invisible Force, stormed the circuit court and freed 13 of their members who had been remanded in custody by the court.
Well, I think first of all, I must say that it is very, very unfortunate that, we have a situation like this in our country. But I must also say that, we should try as much as possible not to over-politicize this kind of situation.
But, Prof, it is political. We cannot run away from that.
Let me finish the comment that I'm making, especially when you have heard the Interior Minister saying that the police is going to take action. The very people we are talking about did something which was against the laws of the land. The police had arrested them. The police had investigated them. They had brought them to the courts. And as they were in court today, some of their members who were not very pleased with what a judge had said that they should go, by what the judge had said, moved in to attack and to set them free. This is lawlessness. This is completely against the rule of law in our country. And because it is against the rule of law, it is important for the security services, the police especially, to assure Ghanaians that they have the capability to protect the interest of Ghanaians, to ensure that people of this nature, groups who call themselves with all sorts of names, look, the moment we begin to recognize them and give them these names, we legitimize them. These are groups that are in against the rule of law. And I think we must call them as they are. And then take action against them so that the ordinary citizen who is going about his normal business will not be scared, will not be afraid that he could be attacked with impunity by people who think that they have the laws, they have powers behind them. I'm glad that the president is saying that said that he would deal with it, and the police is saying that they will deal with it. But I want to say to the police, can we trust you? Can we depend upon you to protect us Ghanaians, to ensure that there is peace and tranquility in the nation, that we can walk about freely without being attacked by tags of people, naming themselves, calling themselves all sorts of names, and with impunity, doing things that they think they can do against the law.
Prof,
I think it is important that we take action against such people.
Prof, I know that it is ideal, and the ideal situation is better not to politicize it, but we cannot do away with the fact that the history of these groupings started way back prior to the elections, where a political party, the MPP, started feeling insecure or lost trust in the security services in protecting them. Now, the formation of these groups, as we already know before the elections, were to enable the MPP have a certain kind of protection for its leaders and also its premises. This was clear during the election period, and people like yourself spoke against it. So what I'm saying is that we are here because of something that we refuse to tackle from the onset as a country. And I reckon that we can put this squarely at the doorstep of the security agencies and the political party involved. But looking at this, we know that it could get out of hand. Boko Haram started this way. It's not far-fetched for us to begin to crack the whip hard. I mean, including even if it means that we have to bring in the military to quash this group.
Yes, yes. I do not doubt what you're saying. I mean, somebody has said that when you see a bird, jumping in the middle of the road, the drama is in the bush. And so, yes, definitely, for people to come out and with impunity, even walk into a court to do this, they must think that, they are protected, that they have, powers behind them. But whatever it is, powers are saying that these are miscreants. These are people who have nothing to do with the rule of law, and therefore the police must crack the whip. For me, it doesn't help anybody simply sitting back and blaming political parties. You have done this, you have done that, even though we know that these are people who are, claim to be supporters of political parties. They are people who are going against the rule of law, and nobody is above the law. Whether they belong to the ruling party or whatever party they claim they belong to, the police must crack the whip, and if they cannot do that, they should call in other security agencies to help them. So that the ordinary citizen walking about in Ghana can walk freely. The way things are going, if we are not very careful, it will get out of hands, and this is going to create all sorts of problems for us. And the police must assure Ghanaian public that we have a police service, men and women who will be able to protect our interests and to ensure that such people do not threaten us in this land, which belongs to all of us.
Right. Professor Emmanuel Asante, we're grateful, but we'll have you hold briefly. So I put my last question to you, but we'll go back and hear the Minister for National Security, Albert Kandapa, who is saying that disbanding the activities of vigilante groups, it's very difficult and not easy because these groups are not legally registered under the law. Answering questions in Parliament, he assured the House the security agencies will take appropriate actions against persons who have constituted themselves onto these action groups violating the laws of the country.
There are no legally registered political vigilante groups in the country. And for that matter, there are no such groups to be disbanded. We must resolve as a House to urge all political leaders in the country to come together to deliberate on measures to discourage the establishment and recognition of such groups in political structures in the interest of state security.
Right. Let me take your thoughts, Prof, before I let you go. The National Security Minister says these groups will be difficult to disband because they are not legally registered.
But at least, but it must, that's why we have the police force, and they have to do investigation to find out who are the leaders. If these are not recognized groups, if these are not groups that are registered, it means that they are outlaws. It means that these are thugs who have, come together to harass people, to create mayhem in the country. And therefore, it is the responsibility of the security services, Kandapa's outfit, as well as the police and all the other security agencies to investigate, to find out who are members of these groups and bring them to book. Because otherwise, we're going to have a situation on our hands when, other groups will be springing up, merging all over the place. And if we're not very careful, we're going to have a group like Boko Haram on our hands.
Right. Professor Asante, we're grateful for your time. Thanks very much. Reverend Professor Emmanuel Asante is the chairman of the National Peace Council. I'm Stephen Enti, and this is News at 10. We're live on TV3 and on 3FM 92.7 as well. We'll be right back with more news.
Your food supplement to improve urine flow. Reliable.
President Mahama, who addressed a number of chiefs and people of
credible and breaking news, all at your fingertips.
Who's found Asamoah Gyan? Super finish!
Being on top of the news has never been easy. Visit us at www.3news.com for all your reliable news. 3 News, news at your fingertips. Everything you need to know. Captivating. Reliable.
President Mahama, who addressed a number of chiefs and people of
credible and breaking news, all at your fingertips.
Who's found Asamoah Gyan? Super finish!
Being on top of the news has never been easy. Visit us at www.3news.com for all your reliable news. 3 News, news at your fingertips. Everything you need to know. Captivating. Reliable.
President Mahama, who addressed a number of chiefs and people of
credible and breaking news, all at your fingertips.
Who's found Asamoah Gyan? Super finish!
Being on top of the news has never been easy. Visit us at www.3news.com for all your reliable news. 3 News, news at your fingertips. Everything you need to know. Captivating. Reliable.
President Mahama, who addressed a number of chiefs and people of
credible.
Now, news just coming in. The Ghana Bar Association has described the attack on the Kumasi Circuit Court by some members of the vigilante group Delta Force as a threat to the judiciary that cannot be tolerated under this democratic dispensation. In a statement, the GBA stressed it is totally unacceptable to disobey the orders of the court, attack or threaten to attack the person of the judge, thereby endangering the peace of the nation. The Ghana Bar Association has therefore called on the Inspector General of Police to immediately rearrest the 13 persons ordered to be remanded and cause a thorough investigation into the incident. The Bar Association also wants persons who played a role in the attack on the Kumasi court to be arrested and duly charged. The statement statement further called the Interior Minister to, as a matter of urgency, take steps to ensure immediate disbandment of the Delta Force and all other vigilante groups in the country. The Bar Association emphasized that an independent judiciary is the backbone of the rule of law. On to some other stories. Fluid samples have been sent to Noguchi to determine the real type and form of meningitis that killed about 26 people. In an exclusive interview with the Ashanti Regional Director of Health Services, Dr. Alex Nang Beifuba disclosed 0.2 meningitis was detected following an autopsy conducted on 3 students.
So far, 26 cases have been reported in the Ashanti region alone. As a remedial measure, the Ashanti Regional Minister on Wednesday, April 5, indicated hospitals would be assigned to various schools to monitor the situation to ensure early detection and case management. But health authorities are yet to confirm the type of meningitis that claimed the lives of the student of Kumaka.
As to the type, is very difficult to tell because we had taken the water that surrounds it, we call it the cerebrospinal fluid, and send it for further analysis that will now come out with the exact type. But we all know that inflammation of the brain, the meningitis, is caused by either viral, bacteria or fungus.
Earlier in the week, 2 students, one from Boku Senior High and the other from the Boku Senior High Technical School, were reported to have died of cerebrospinal meningitis, while 11 others were hospitalized. CSM usually occurs in March and April when maximum temperature is recorded at 40 degrees Celsius.
The season right now in the Ashanti region, Brown-Hartford, is no longer different from it used to be in the northern regions. Every day you see the temperatures go as high as 38, 39 degrees. And it's very dry, your throat is dry, your nose is dry, and there's sometimes dry dust in the air. These are the environmental conditions that are favorable to the spread of meningitis.
In 2016, the Ministry of Health and the Ghana Health Service confirmed the outbreak of pneumococcal meningitis in some parts of the country. It was the first of such strain of meningitis outbreak in Ghana, which began in October 2015. Meningitis is an infection and inflammation of the meninges, which are the membranes that cover the spinal cord and the brain. Meningitis can be caused by many different germs, including bacteria, fungi, and viruses.
And the Deputy Minister Designate for Agriculture, George Odro, has denied claims by the minority leader that he has been investigated by the BNI, and the report is damning. The MP for New Edubiasi expressed shock at the allegation, adding that it is misinformation which should be disregarded. He spoke to TV3's Salom Amenya.
I'm not aware of any report of that. So in case they make it available, that I would love to see it. I had a call and a letter which I cited on that there was one boy, certain name George, is it Kwabena Udro? So I think my name is George Udro. So there was very definitely. There's a name like that, George Kwabena Udro. You can verify from the BNI. There's no problem.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
And that's it from me here for News at 10. We are grateful that you make time. And for those who listened on 3FM 92.7, thanks for leaving your dial there. On behalf of the crew, good night. There is more news at 3news.com.